Welcome back. I'm Pratap here. Today is 9th December 2024. In this video, I'm going to generate different supply demand zone reports useful to the premium subscribers. First, I will find the stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Starting from half yearly, stocks near half yearly demand zone, no stocks are available. Half yearly time frame, stocks near half yearly supply zone, one stock is filtered. I'm giving you only few seconds time to watch the report. I request you pause the video, study the report, and then you can proceed further. In case if you don't understand how to study the report, I request you complete our training lesson 21.1. In that video, I have explained each and every column, their values, abbreviations in detail. Okay, next half time frame is quarterly. Stocks near quarterly demand zone, one stock is filtered. Next quarterly time frame, stocks near quarterly supply zone, 7 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is a monthly. Stocks near monthly demand zone, 5 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame, stocks near monthly supply zone, 6 stocks are filtered. Next monthly time frame, price closed inside the monthly demand zone, and the monthly demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at monthly time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means zone is not pierced. Let's filter. 14 stocks are filtered. In these 14, how many monthly demand zones are having a monthly EMA Confluence? Let's verify in the EMA Confluence, monthly time frame, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA Confluence. But EMA Confluence should be valid only in trending market. So zone violation trend based on zone violation at monthly time frame, I am selecting up or down trend, but not sideways. Let's filter. We got 8 stocks. Okay, next monthly time frame. Price closed inside monthly supply zone, and this monthly supply zone should not be pierced. So minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. We got 13 stocks. Price closed inside the monthly supply zone. But we want high probability monthly supply zone based on EMA Confluence. Supply zones having monthly EMA Confluence. Let's verify. EMA Confluence, monthly time frame. Monthly supply zone having monthly EMA Confluence. And trend should be, trend on monthly time frame should be either up or down, but not sideways. So 2 stocks are filtered. These monthly supply zones are having monthly EMA Confluence. Okay, next time frame is a weekly. Stocks near weekly demand zone, 11 stocks are filtered. Next weekly time frame, stocks near weekly supply zone, 10 stocks are filtered. Next weekly time frame, price closed inside weekly demand zone, and this demand zone should not be pierced. So pierced count, weekly time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter. 8 stocks are filtered. Weekly demand zone, price closed inside this weekly demand zone. And out of these 8, how many are having weekly EMA Confluence, weekly demand zones? In the EMA Confluence, weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, and trend should be on weekly time frame either up or down. We got 4 stocks. These are the high probability setup supported weekly demand zones. Okay, next, weekly time frame. Price closed inside weekly supply zone, and these weekly supply zones should not be pierced. So pierced count, weekly time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. With this we got a good number of stocks. First 15 stocks, next up to 30 stocks, next up to 44 stocks. Total 51 stocks are filtered where price closed inside weekly supply zones. But out of these 51 supply zones, how many are having a high probability setup supported supply zones? Let's filter based on weekly EMA Confluence. So EMA Confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zones having weekly EMA Confluence, and a trend on weekly time frame should be either up or down, but not sideways for EMA Confluence. Now list is reduced. First 15 stocks. I am scrolling the list down. So total 23 out of 52, 23 stocks are filtered. These 23 are supporting high probability. Okay. Next time frame is daily. Entry time frame daily. Let us find the stocks near daily demand zone. 9 stocks are filtered. Let's identify high liquidity zones from this list. HDFC Life, so we have only one high liquidity demand zone from this list. Okay. Next, daily time frame. Let us find the stocks near daily supply zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Let us identify high liquidity daily supply zones. Indus Tower is having high liquidity daily supply zone. Laurus Labs is having. M&M Finance is having. So total 3 high liquidity daily supply zones we identified from this list. Okay, next for daily time frame, price closed inside the daily demand zone, and these daily demand zones should not be pierced. So pierced count on daily time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Let's filter the stocks. We got 16 stocks. Currently price closed inside these 16 demand zones. But there could be high probability setup supported demand zones based on the EMA Confluence. So let's verify. EMA Confluence on daily time frame. Daily demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence. And during EMA Confluence, the trend should not be sideways. That's why on daily time frame, we are selecting up or down trend. With these filters, we got 4 stocks. Out of 16, only 4 stocks. These demand zones are currently high probability setup based on the EMA Confluence. Okay, next for daily time frame. Price closed inside daily supply zone. These daily supply zones should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at a daily time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. That means daily supply zone should not be pierced. With this filter, we got a big list, first 15 stocks in the list. So I'm scrolling the list down. So total 36 stocks are filtered from this list, where price closed inside daily supply zone. Out of these 36 supply zones, daily supply zone, how many are having daily EMA Confluence? The supply zones with daily EMA Confluence, let's filter. In the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence, and the trend, daily trend with EMA Confluence should not be sideways. So I am selecting up or down trend. With these filters, we got 4 stocks. These 4 supply zones are high probability setup supply zones based on EMA Confluence. Price closed inside daily supply zone. Okay, this is about daily time frame. Next time frame is 125 minutes. Stocks near 125 minutes demand zone. 12 stocks are filtered. Next 125 minutes time frame. Stocks near 125 minutes supply zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 75 minutes. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Let us find the stocks near 75 minutes demand zone. We got 6 stocks. Let's identify high liquidity 75 minutes demand zones, if any. Navin Fluorine is having a high liquidity zone. Tata Motors is having a high liquidity zone. So we have 2 high liquidity 75 minute demand zone from this list. Okay, next for 75 minutes time frame, let's find the stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. So 15 stocks are filtered. Let's identify high liquidity zones from this list. The first one is pierced, not valid. We don't have any valid high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Let me check again. First one is pierced, but anyway it is indices also not valid for F&O trading. All these are all supply zone, supply zone, supply zone, supply zone, pierced supply zone, TCZ supply zone also pierced, supply zone, pierced supply zone, pierced supply zones. So we don't have any valid high liquidity 75 minute supply zones from this list. Okay. Next time frame is 25 minutes. Stocks near 25 minutes demand zone. 7 stocks are filtered. Next 25 minutes time frame. Stocks near 75 minutes supply zone. 8 stocks are filtered. Next time frame is 15 minutes. Stocks near 15 minutes demand zone. We got 5 stocks. Out of these 5, how many are having ITF confluence? Demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. So with this filter, we got 2 stocks, 2 demand zones we got. First one is already pierced, it is invalid. Second one is having ITF confluence. That means 15 minutes demand zone is overlapped with 75 minutes demand zone. That is what zone confluence. Okay, next 15 minutes time frame. Stocks near 15 minutes supply zone. We got 8 stocks. Out of these 8, how many are having ITF confluence? Let's verify. 15-minute supply zone with 75-minute supply zone confluence. I'm enabling that filter. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 15-minute supply zones are part of the 75-minute supply zone. Okay, next time frame is 5 minutes. Stocks near 5 minutes demand zone. 11 stocks are filtered. Let's identify ITF Confluence supported stocks. That is 5 minutes demand zone with 15 minutes demand zone confluence. I'm setting that filter. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. But the second one is invalid because it is already pierced. Next, for 5 minutes time frame, stocks near 5 minute supply zone, we got 13 stocks. Out of these 13, how many are having ITF confluence, supply zone confluence? That is 5 minute supply zone with 15 minute supply zone confluence. I'm enabling that filter. So with this filter, we got 2 stocks. So this is about stocks near demand and supply zones for different time frames. Next, we will identify NIFTY and BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain, starting with NIFTY. Nifty 50 monthly time frame, generating monthly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. So in this supply demand zone chain, always look into the zone column to find high liquidity zone. Look into the pierced column to find the pierced zones. They are not valid for trading purpose. And always look into the LTF trend to find the trend of the current time frame you have selected. Follow these rules for the remaining supply demand zone chain reports. Okay, next, generating weekly supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 125-minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 75-minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 25-minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 15-minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. Next, 5-minute supply demand zone chain for NIFTY. For more demand zones, I am scrolling the list down. So this is about the NIFTY supply demand zone chain. Next, BANKNIFTY supply demand zone chain we will generate. So NIFTY Bank, that is nothing but BANKNIFTY. So monthly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, weekly supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, daily supply demand zone chain for BANKNIFTY. Next, 125-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 75-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 25-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 15-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. Next, 5-minute supply demand zone chain for Bank Nifty. So this is about Bank Nifty supply demand zone chain. The next set of reports are about bullish and bearish trade setups for monthly, weekly and daily income trades. First, let us generate monthly income trade bullish trade setup, entry time frame daily, entry zone demand zone, bullish or bearish trade setup, selecting bullish, and this daily demand zone should not be pierced. So I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd and hands score 12, and these three filters are applied to daily demand zone. And now we got 19 stocks. Currently all these 19 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry time frames are daily time frame. So daily demand zones. Entry zone should be daily demand zones. You should plan your trades. But out of these 19 daily demand zones, there could be some high probability setup demand zones based on LTF and ITF demand zone concepts, demand zones as per the concepts learned in lesson 27. Let's filter. LTF and ITF demand zone confluence, that is nothing but daily and weekly demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. With this filter, out of those 19 stocks, we got 14 stocks. In these 14 stocks, the daily demand zone is part of the weekly demand zone. And a weekly trend, that is ITF trend, is uptrend. So let us look for weekly EMA Confluence, because daily zone is part of weekly zone. So in the EMA Confluence, weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup. So out of 14, we got 8 stocks. In these 8 stocks are high probability trade setup supported stocks with LTF, ITF confluence, and ITF zone is having ITF EMA confluence. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing the EMA filter. LTF, ITF, HTF, that is daily, weekly, monthly demand zone confluence. First filter is already enabled. Next, daily demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence, and weekly demand zone with monthly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF confluence, we got only 1 stock. So in this stock, the daily demand zone, this is the daily demand zone. The daily demand zone is part of the weekly demand zone. Both together again part of the monthly demand zone. If this monthly demand zone is having monthly EMA confluence, that could be even more high probability trade setup. So that's why in the EMA confluence at monthly time frame, monthly demand zone having monthly EMA confluence filter is enabled. We did not get that stock. So it is not having monthly EMA confluence. Okay, next, bearish trade setup for monthly income trade, entry time frame daily, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish trade setup. At daily, I am selecting bearish. Daily supply zone should not be pierced. So I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0 in daily time frame. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum odd and hands score 12. All 3 filters are applied to daily supply zone. and we got 4 stocks supporting bearish trade setup for monthly income trade. Entry zones are daily supply zones. Out of these 4 daily supply zones, there could be some high probability setup zones might be available. So let us filter them based on LTF, ITF, supply zone confluence. That is a daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. So with this filter, out of 4, we got 4 stocks. That means in all these 4 stocks, the daily supply zones are part of the weekly supply zone. And the weekly trend is down. And if it is having weekly EMA, we get even more high probability trade setup zones. Let's verify in the EMA Confluence weekly time frame, because daily is part of weekly. So weekly supply zone having weekly EMA Confluence filter is enabled. We got 2 stocks. So these 2 are high probability trade setup supply zones. Next, let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. Earlier we got 4 stocks for LTF and ITF confluence. Now let us add even HTF supply zone confluence. So the first filter is already enabled. Second filter daily with monthly supply zone confluence. Weekly with monthly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, we got only 1 stock. So in this stock, the daily supply zone is part of the weekly, both together part of the monthly supply zone. Monthly trend is down. So if monthly supply zone is having monthly EMA confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's filter. Yes, it is filtered. So it's a high probability trade setup supported stock. Okay, next let us look for bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes. Entry zone demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes. I am selecting bullish. This 75 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement is VOZ. Minimum odd enhancer score 12. All the 3 filters applied to 75 minutes demand zone. We got 12 stocks. These 12 stocks are supporting bullish trade setup for weekly income trade. Out of these 12, there could be some high probability setup zones might be available, the 75 minutes demand zones. First, let us verify based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 75 minutes with daily demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter, 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With this filter, we got 10 stocks. Out of 14, we got 10 stocks. In these 10 stocks, that 75, all these are all 75 minutes demand zones. They are part of the daily demand zone. And daily trend is up in all these stocks, that is ITF trend. So because 75 minute zone is part of daily and the daily zone is having daily EMA confluence, it's a even high probability trade setup. Let's verify daily demand zone with daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got 6 stocks. So these 6 75 minutes demand zones are more high probability trade setup zones, because the 75 zone is part of daily zone and daily is having daily EMA confluence, and some of these demand zones are high liquidity demand zones. That is even much powerful. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing this EMA filter. In the demand zone confluence, LTF, ITF, HTF, that is a daily with 75 minutes demand zone with daily is enabled. 75 minutes demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. Daily demand zone with weekly demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence, we got 5 stocks. In these 5 stocks, the HTF zone, because the daily 75 minute zone is part of daily, both together part of the weekly zone. Weekly is HTF. And HTF trend is up for 3 stocks. If they are having any weekly EMA Confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence weekly time frame, weekly demand zone having weekly EMA Confluence filter is enabled. With this filter we got 4 stocks, and first one and second one sideways trend, just ignore them. And the third is uptrend and fourth is uptrend. These two are high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF, this is LTF, ITF, HTF. Next we look for bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry time frame 75 minutes, entry zone, supply zone, bullish or bearish trade setup at 75 minutes, selecting bearish. This 75 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So at 75 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone. Minimum order enhances score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 75 minutes supply zone. Let's filter. We got 6 stocks. These 6 stocks are currently supporting bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Entry zones are 75 minute supply zones. All these are all 75 minute supply zones. But in these 6 75 minute supply zones, there could be some high probability setup supported supply zones might be available based on the zone confluence. So first filter is LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. So that is 75 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence filter is enabled. With this filter we got 6 stocks. In all these 6 stocks, the 75 minute supply zones are part of the daily supply zone. And the daily trend is down. If these daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence, they are even more high probability trade setups. Actually these are all 75 minutes supply zones, but they are part of the daily supply zone. That's why we are looking for in the EMA confluence a daily time frame. Daily supply zones are having daily EMA confluence. With this filter, we got only 2 stocks. So these two are even more high probability trade setup supply zones. Okay, next let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter in the supply zone confluence. Already one filter is enabled. 75 with daily. Next, second filter, 75 minute supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence, daily supply zone with weekly supply zone confluence. With all the 3 LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence, we got 3 stocks. In these 3, the first one and third one are sideways trend. Let us verify if they are having a weekly EMA confluence. So in the EMA confluence, weekly time frame, weekly supply zones having weekly EMA confluence filter is enabled. All 3 are filtered. You can ignore the second one because weekly trend is sideways, but remaining to downtrend. So this is about bearish trade setup for weekly income trade. Next, daily income trade, bullish trade setup, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, demand zone. Bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes. I am selecting bullish. 15 minutes demand zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, 15 minutes time frame, minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement violated opposing zone, minimum order enhances score 12. All 3 filters are applied to 15 minutes demand zone. Now let's filter the stocks. We got 15 stocks. And these 15 stocks are currently supporting bullish trade setup for daily income trade. The entry time frame zones are 15 minutes demand zones. That means all these demand zones are 15 minutes demand zones. Out of these 15 minutes demand zones, there could be some high probability setup supported demand zones might be available. Let us filter them. Let us filter them based on LTF and ITF demand zone confluence. That is 15 minutes demand zone with 75 minutes demand zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. So with this filter, out of 15 stocks, we got 13 stocks. In all these 13 stocks, 15 minutes entry time frame demand zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone. And 75 minutes trend is up in all these stocks. So if these 75 minutes demand zones are having daily EMA Confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at 75 minutes time frame, because 15 minutes zone is part of the 75 minutes demand zone. So 75 minutes demand zone having daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we got 2 stocks. So these 2 demand zones are high probability setup supported demand zones. Okay, this is based on LTF and ITF and EMA Confluence. Next we will look for LTF, ITF and HTF demand zone confluence. I am removing EMA filter. So in the demand zone confluence, first filter 15 minutes with 75 minutes confluence is enabled. Second filter 15 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. Third filter 75 minutes demand zone with daily demand zone confluence. With all the 3 filters, sorry, this is not enabled. Okay, we have 3 filters enabled: LTF, ITF, HTF demand zone confluence. We got 7 stocks. These 7 stocks, the 15 minutes entry time frame, all these are all 15 minutes zones. These 15 minute zones are part of the 75 minutes demand zone, both together again part of the daily demand zone. And the daily trend is up in all these stocks except first and third. If the remaining stocks are having EMA Confluence, they are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence at a daily time frame, daily demand zone having daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we got 6 stocks. Out of these 6, first and third eliminate them because the trend is sideways. You can also eliminate in the filter. In the zone violation trend at daily time frame, I am selecting uptrend stocks because this is bullish trade setup. So we got 4 stocks. Sideways trade setup, HTF time frame are eliminated. These 4 are even more high probability trade setup supported stocks. Okay, this is about a bullish trade setup daily income trade. Next, bearish trade setup daily income trade, entry time frame 15 minutes, entry zone, supply zone. In bullish or bearish trade setup at 15 minutes, I am selecting bearish. These 15 minutes supply zone should not be pierced. So in the pierced count, 15 minutes time frame, I am setting minimum value 0, maximum value 0. Zone achievement VOZ, minimum odd enhance score 12. All 3 filters applied to 15 minute supply zone. Let's filter. We got 4 stocks. So these 4 stocks are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Entry zones are 15 minute supply zones. So all these 15 minute supply zones are supporting bearish trade setup for daily income trade. Out of these 4 15 minute supply zones, there could be some high probability setup supported supply zones might be available. First we will filter based on LTF and ITF supply zone confluence. That is a 15 minute supply zone with 75 minute supply zone confluence. I am enabling that filter. So with this filter, we got out of 4, only 2 stocks we got. In these 2 supply zones, because 15 minute supply zone is part of 75 minutes, out of these 2 supply zones, if anyone is having daily EMA Confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup supported stock. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence, 75 minutes time frame, 75 minutes supply zone with daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled. With this filter, we did not get any stocks. So none of those zones are having EMA Confluence. Okay, now let us look for LTF, ITF, HTF supply zone confluence. We got LTF, ITF 2 stocks. Out of those 2, how many are having HTF confluence? Let's verify. In the supply zone confluence, first filter is enabled. Second filter 15 minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence. Third filter, 75-minute supply zone with daily supply zone confluence with all the three filters, LTF, ITF, HTF, supply zone confluence. We got one stock. Very good. So in this stock, this 15-minute supply zone is part of the 75-minute supply zone, both together again part of the daily supply zone. And zone is also high liquidity zone. Okay, daily trend is a downtrend. Because daily trend is downtrend and 15 minutes and 75 minute zones part of the daily zone. If this daily zone is having daily EMA Confluence, it is even more high probability trade setup. Let's verify. In the EMA Confluence, daily time frame, daily supply zone having daily EMA Confluence filter is enabled. So this is having daily EMA Confluence. It is even more high probability trade setup supported zone. And also it is high liquidity supply zone. Okay. So this is the bearish trade setup for daily income trade. In the final report, let us generate stop buffers based on daily ATR. All these are all stop buffers. First 17 in this list are indices. Remaining all are equity stocks. I am scrolling the list down. Whichever the stock you want to refer, there you please pause the video. After that you can proceed further. Okay, I am scrolling the list down. So this is the end of the report. Hope this information will be useful to you for your further study and analysis. Let's all meet again in our next video. Thank you.